So those are my favorite picture books. Now we're going to look at my favorite chapter books. This book on top, Gone Away Lake by Elizabeth Enright, is my favorite book in the whole world. Has been my favorite book since I was 11 years old. The illustrations are by a husband and wife team. Their names are Beth and Joe Crush. And don't they do the most marvelous, beautiful job. I recently read that Beth would do the historical research, make the outline of the drawing, and then Joe would come in with his signature pen and ink and go over the drawings and finish them so they could be printed. And oh, you guys, how I wanted to draw like this when I was young. I just wanted so badly to be just like these two. And for some reason, the fact that it was two artists always seemed kind of strange to me, because I didn't really like it when other people messed with my art. But I guess, if you're working as a team, isn't that wonderful? I love all this detail. My eyes just want to look at all this detail. And what's really great is if a book is being read to you and you can look at all this detail while you're listening to the story. That's probably my favorite thing about having someone read to me. I think it's my kids' favorite thing about me reading to them. How'd you like to have a moose? A moose head in your house with a bird nest on top of it. So, wonderful, wonderful book about two cousins who find a bunch of really old falling down Victorian summer houses, and they become friends with the brother and sister that live there. And then there was a sequel, yes! Again, by Elizabeth Enright, illustrated by Beth and Joe Crush. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this book won runner-up for Newbery Medal, so that's very, very important. This one, the girl in the book, the cousin Portia, they buy one of the houses, her parents and her brother, and they fix it up. And they happily live there. And they find all kinds of things inside this house, like a suit of armor, because the lady that owned the house had passed away and had not ever come back to get her things. And so the house was just all locked up with all of her wonderful things in it. So it was a lot of fun. All right, Elizabeth Enright wrote so many wonderful books, you guys, and I feel like she's such a forgotten author. Another of my favorite books of her, I have to do Fourth Story Mistake first because it comes first in the series. There are 4 books about the Melindy family, and Elizabeth Enright, she actually was a very interesting girl. She went to school to study dance and wanted to be a professional dancer, but she wasn't good enough. So then she went to school to study art and wanted to be a professional artist. Her mother was a professional artist, but she wasn't quite good enough. Then she started to write, and writing is where she found her passion. She won the Newbery Medal for Thimble Summer. I don't have that book here, but it's a wonderful book. These are just as great, and Elizabeth Enright does all of the illustrations for these books. I don't know why she didn't do them in the other books. Maybe probably, it does take a long time to illustrate a book, so she might have been having to just write and have someone else do the illustrations. So this book is about 4 children who moved to the country to this big house that's called the 4-Story Mistake, because it's 3 stories with this cupola on top. It was supposed to be 4 stories, but they forgot to build the 4th story, so they put a little tower on the top to make the man that owned it happy, which is funny. And there's all these lovely pictures, and the story is just so wonderful. And the best thing about this book is that there's 4 books all about these children and all of their adventures. And the next book in the series, then there were 5, is my favorite book in the series. And in it, she really hits her stride. Just with the beauty of her art, the beauty of her words, she really shines. Look at this beautiful frontispiece here with the Melindy children in this wonderful gazebo or summer house. Look at all the wonderful detail. And these are just pen and ink. There's no watercolor, there's no oil paint, there's no crayons. It's just very simple and beautiful line drawings. And I was so drawn to these, and still am, for their simplicity and their beauty. All right, you guys, last but not least is another book that I love to read my first graders, A Bear Called Paddington by Michael Bond. Now, the great Peggy Fortnum illustrated these. This is an English book. It was not an American book, so it did not win any American Book Awards. But that's okay, because it's still an amazing book. Peggy Fortnum and her pen, she used a dip pen, and you can tell by the way some of the lines are. Very expressive with her ability to draw Paddington. Paddington is really a very childlike bear, and the way Peggy draws him is just amazing. I just love the expressions that she gives him, the way she makes his fur look. She makes this look really easy, but I guarantee you that this was not easy. That's kind of the trick, you know, making it look like it was easy, but then knowing deep down how hard you worked on it. Look at this look on his face when he's getting all messy with these donuts. He's cutting his eyes to the side like, oh, who me? Did I make a mess? Just very sweet. And she's put lots of illustrations in this book. You don't just get one per chapter, you get several. Look at his little fur sticking up right there, it's so cute. My first graders, when I used to read this book to them, just loved it because he gets in all kinds of trouble. And of course the movies are fantastic as well. They did such a great job with those. So there you go, there's Paddington with Peggy Fortnum doing the illustrations. And of course written by the great Michael Bond, who went on to write like 14 or 15 more books about Paddington, and they're all really, really good. All right, guys, now let's talk about art. Okay, guys, sorry about this. I've already started this project. I thought I was recording my video, and I was not. If you can't make a mistake, you can't make anything. So let's start again. We're gonna do a collage with our book. My book is A Bear Called Paddington by Michael Bond and Peggy Fortnum. I have gathered lots of scraps from my house, from my recycle bin, from the trash. Also, I have a little box of scraps that I keep of just interesting little pieces of paper and things. And so I went through that and found some things. I've already started. I apologize again. I thought I was recording. So I put this at the bottom. One of my kids read this to me. I love you, Mom. I feel like that talks to me about Paddington because he's very much like a kid in the books, and he has a new family and he's very happy with them. In England, it rains a lot, so I used this paint chip. You can get paint chips free from Walmart. Don't take a whole bunch of them, obviously, but you can get a few at a time. This reminds me so much of rainy weather, and then I just cut this out from the circular for our local grocery store. This umbrella and rain jacket to remind me of the weather. Next thing I have is a double-decker bus like you find in London with the English-British flag on it. So I'm gonna glue this on. And I don't have any Elmer's glue because my son used it all for a science project. So I'm using this horrible rubber cement, and it really stinks. And I don't recommend it, but we're using what we have. We can't really go to the store. So I think I'll kind of tuck this in here. There we go. Okay. I also have this great book cover. It's been laminated. I might not have a lot of room for this. I might have to kind of have it going off the page, and that would be okay too. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that one on there before I get too busy with other things. You can put the glue on the page, or you can put it on what you're gluing. Either one works. All right, let's see what else I've got in here. Oh yeah, sweet little first graders of mine gave me some little Valentines with Paddington on them. So I think I'm gonna use one of these. I like to use all of them. I think I will use all of them. I'll just have them sticking off the page again. Why not, you guys? Why not? So let's see. Okay, there we go. What else do I have here? I got a cafe receipt
I can probably use that. Just kind of remember when Paddington goes to the train station and he goes to the cafe and he gets the donuts and he makes a really big mess with them. That'd be kind of fun. That reminds me of him very much. You know what, I'm gonna wait for this one. I'm not really sure where to put this one because I also have some other cool things. I have some stamps from England. Are these cool? There's some castles and the Queen right there. I have a drawing of Paddington and his Aunt Lucy that I did a long time ago that I took out of an old sketchbook. I kind of want to put that in there too. Let's see. I have an extra backpack tag. I used to make these for my first graders every year. It says, "Please look after this bear, thank you." And then I would put their name on the bus or car ride or whatever they were on the back. And so I want this on there because Paddington always had this on his coat when he was traveling in case something happened to him. So I have these few things left. Oh yes, and the coin, because Paddington's always trying to get money so he can have hot cocoa and buns with Mr. Gruber for his 11s. So let me see if I can kind of figure out how to put all of these things together, and then I'll glue them down. You kind of get to a point in a collage where you have to start making decisions about things and how they should go. Kind of like that right in the middle. Doesn't that look good? And maybe the stamps. Gosh, this is tough, you guys. I might have to cover up the Paddington just a little bit. That's all right. Just play with things until you get them how you want them to look. This little coin will be easy to place. I still have this. Let me cut these out real quick. You can trim things. Try to make sure that each thing you pick has a good reason for being there. Don't just, you know, pick a picture of an apple and some chocolate because you're hungry and, you know, a picture of someone on a beach because you like beaches. Try to find pictures that match your story and then can help you tell your story. So let's see. I want to cut pretty close so that I have some leeway on where to fit this. You can draw pictures to add to this, just like I did with these, and then cut them out and add them. You can mark over this with crayons, all kinds of stuff. Okay, let's see. I think I'll put that there. That looks really good there, right on top of that rainy day paint thing. I like that. Okay, I wonder if I could just put the stamps upside down, if they would be too bad. Not crazy about them upside down, but I could trim this so that they would fit better. I will do that. Okay, now that I've trimmed those stamps, I'm just going to glue them on. There we go. I think that they would look really good right here. Yes, they do. I have them stick off just a little bit, that's fun. So I can see this part of the page. Oh, you guys can't see that, I'm so sorry. There we go. So I have them sticking out just a little bit over here. Okay, one thing I don't have is a title for this. So I'm just going to look at my book and write the title on this little piece of scrap paper that I have here. Because this is about my book. So if I was going to talk about this to my friends, they would know what book I was talking about. And I'll write the author. see how to spell his name. And the illustrator. Okay, now I want to put this title somewhere so you know what book I'm talking about. So I think I'm gonna put it here at the top. There we go. So just a minute, I'm gonna glue this down. My yucky glue. There we go. And then I wanna put, I still want this to be in the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach that. I need to know where to put this little slip thing. I might not use this. It's cute, but I just don't know if it's gonna fit anywhere on here. I don't really see that it's going to, so I'm not gonna use this anymore. Sometimes you have to edit. That means take things away to make them look better. So I'll put the queen right here. And this little tiny coin. Put right here too. All right, guys, there we go. There is my collage for A Bear Called Paddington. Oh, I forgot to glue this on, my goodness. Hang on a second. Yeah, make sure when you get up that all your pieces are glued on. That's very common when you're doing a collage to forget to glue something if you've placed it. And there you go. I'm gonna kind of cover that up. Yeah, like that. Oh no, I don't want it to show. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's my collage for A Bear Called Paddington. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, I didn't glue these guys on either. See guys, it's so important to make sure to move your collage around that you glued everything on. That's okay. Making lots of mistakes today. No problem. I want them right there, yeah. Alright, it's finally done and it's very cute, and I can tell the story of my book by all of these things about how Paddington went to London and met a new family, how he likes to have 11s with Mr. Gruber. All of these things tell about my story. Alright guys, go find things about your story and make your own collage. Bye bye.